Hi, Callie.
Hi, Kaitlin. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. So good and so feminine we sound.
We should adopt these gentle horror voices all the time.
I love that idea.
Really, really perfect for a podcast.
People are probably tuning out left and right. That was our Liv Tyler / Christina Hendricks impersonation.
Because we've learned today that the Strangers franchise is one of gentle-voiced women
Gentle
in peril.
female voices.
Yeah. Hi, this is Scream Girls. It's a podcast where we watch scary movies and talk about them and rate them and tell you if you should see them and what to expect when you do. I'm Caitlin McKenzie.
And I'm Callie Goff.
Nice to be back. How are you, Cal?
Oh, great. I'm excited to talk about this movie. This is our first movie that we
too.
saw in the movie theater.
Yeah, we're nervous because we were not able to take our typical obsessive notes.
I mean, I feel naked. I have no notebook. I have no notes. I don't know how this is going to go. I feel wild.
Wild. Let's do it wild, as they say,
Ugh.
the pros in the recording industry.
Really?
Well, yeah.
3 times wild.
Really, it just means no music.
Okay,
which we don't have any of that. What do
Yeah.
you think this is?
A professional podcast? Yeah, so I saw the movie with Simon, my boy,
Oh, nice.
and he's been texting me today some things that I should keep in mind.
Oh, what
And
a
as we know,
guy.
Simon is not the most attentive watcher of movies, so I was surprised that, he had some follow-up thoughts, which I will share as we dive in. But in the meantime, what else is new, Caitlin? What have you been up to?
Oh, not too much. I got a hole in my jeans today, which I tried to sew it up, and I thought I was in good shape, but popped right on open
in the
again.
thigh?
In the thigh. Right in the old thigh.
Classic thigh.
But I don't think anybody noticed except for me today. I hope not.
No. Probably only when you go up and down the stairs of the subway will people notice.
Well, that's okay. I know it's because I have a long winter coat on.
Oh,
God
there you
bless
go.
New York in the cold.
Well, update.
Yeah.
Because I know you're all dying to know if this even made it into last week's episode.
It will, if I know what it is.
I watched Darren Brown's.
Oh, that's not what I thought
What
you were
did you
saying.
think
I
I
thought
was
you were
gonna
going to
say?
give us a whole 30 update.
Okay, well, point number 1, Darren Brown, and then I'll go into Whole 30.
Okay.
Number 1, Darren Brown. I watched it. I know I was excited about it last time. I'm less excited about it having now watched it. So if you haven't watched it, I guess, you know what, don't. I'm going to say don't, because Darren Brown is better than this. He has released more interesting shows than this. This feels kind of bogus and weird, but it was about murder, so I did not get that wrong.
I do appreciate you giving us that update and looking out and not just blindly recommending things.
Yeah.
Probably a magic show or an illusion show is a tough thing to be as impressive on screen as it is live.
Yeah, it's not it's too hard to describe. He tries to see if he can convince an innocent person to commit murder.
And I take it he succeeds wildly and the trial begins next week.
Well, TBD.
Oh no.
TBD if you watch. But more importantly, I ate 2 cookies on Sunday.
You did?
I did.
Oh, I'm happy for you that you did.
I started to get really upset
About
on Sunday.
Not having eaten cookies.
So
in a
I had
long time?
completed Whole 30, as you know, on Tuesday.
Mhm.
And I was excited to keep going. But by Sunday, I was just sort of down in the dumps because I was like, I haven't even given myself one reward for this hard work I'm doing. And I cracked. But I like cracked. Like I was like to my beloved, was like, I need a cookie. Like, I need one. It's not fair. Why can't I have a cookie? And he was like, I'm going to go get you one.
Oh.
And then a few hours went by. I took a nap. I thought that might help because I'm like a baby. And I was like, I'm going to take a nap. I'm very cranky. I took a nap and I woke up and I was like, did you go? Did you get me a cookie? And he was like, no, I didn't go. And I was like, well, then forget it. And like, and it was a real roller coaster of emotions. And then I scared him and he went to get it.
But he wanted to go in the first place.
He wanted to.
He's a good guy.
I ate 2 cookies very slowly.
What kind of cookies? I hope not like an Oreo. Like a real cookie.
No,
right?
a real cookie. It was chocolate chip with M&M, which is my favorite.
Yummy. That M&M candy shell makes a world-o difference.
Delish.
I'm glad you did that, Kelly, because what is life worth living without a cookie now and again?
Well, and
You've been very disciplined.
On Saturday, I was like, I could get hit by a bus and I won't have eaten that cookie. I gotta have the cookie.
Yeah.
So, by the way, I've talked about cookies more in the last 3 weeks than I have in my entire life.
That's okay.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a good side effect.
Moments like this help us learn what are really important to us.
Yeah, it's all I care about.
Yeah, well,
I basically went to brunch with my friends, and I basically didn't speak to anyone because I was so...
Because you were just eating seasonless eggs?
Exactly.
That sucks.
And I was unhappy.
Yeah, I don't blame
Undressed
you.
salad.
I use food as a reward for myself daily, every day. I really would have a hard time without the promise of sweet calories to get me through. But you've done an amazing job. Sweet cows.
Yeah.
Oh, just like you.
Cal is in the name.
Oh, wow. Well, you've done a great job.
Oh, thanks. Well, it's been, I feel like, to transition, one of the habits I've sort of broken is needing to get all the popcorn and all the candy and all the ices.
That's great.
At the movie theater. I went last night with a La Croix, if that's how you pronounce it.
I never know. I say it both ways. Write in and let us know. Vote.
Yeah.
But, I love a La Croix.
And some nuts.
First of all, I love doing the movie theater sneak, but I've never really been terribly tempted by the movie theater popcorn because I'm such a cheapskate. And so now with Movie Pass, I'm like, this is a free activity. I don't have to spend any money if I don't want to.
You do have Movie Pass.
Of course I have it.
Simon was wondering.
I do. Why? Does he not have?
He has it.
Yeah.
He's estimating that he's costing MoviePass about $100 a month at the moment. He's just going wild. He's going to a movie tonight because he knows we're recording this. Like, anytime I'm not home, he's going to the movies.
I haven't gone to as many as I would like with it, but I still, in New York City, movies cost $17 a pop. It pays for itself with one movie, so I'm already living the high life with MoviePass right now. And, we'll get into it, but I don't feel bad about having gone into a theater to see this movie because I paid not one red cent for it.
There you go. We're
Pass,
available for hire.
Call us. Should we talk about this movie?
Oh, this movie. I'm so fucking excited to talk about it. I'm more excited to talk about it than I was seeing it. I'll give you a little spoiler alert on how much I liked this movie or not.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
So we saw The Strangers Pray at Night, if that wasn't clear. So this movie is literally just now out in theaters. So if you want to see it, if it sounds appealing to you, turn this shit off and go see it. If you don't care about seeing it and you just want to listen to this podcast, that's fine. We're going to get into it in fairly great detail. So
yeah, and thanks. Thanks for just wanting to listen to us. That's nice. Okay, let's just dive right in.
All right. Well, can I start with the very top thing, the title treatment that comes on in the beginning?
Yes.
This title treatment shows up at the beginning. It's like the beginning of Stranger Things. It's like a 1980s, early 80s Stephen King.
It looks like Halloween. It looks like the title treatment for Halloween.
Yes.
100%.
Which is a harbinger?
Uh-huh.
Harbinger of things to come. Callie's
I growled because
disgruntled.
Oh God, I guess I'll keep it inside until the time has come for me to share my feelings.
Let's talk about this cold open because I actually did like it. So we open in a trailer park, which I was kind of interested in at first. I was like, oh, are we dealing with like a lower socioeconomic class? Who are the people that live in this trailer park? Turns out, no, it's a vacation space. It's like a campground near a lake that Richies live in. But the people that are there right now are people that we later learn live there year round and take care of the grounds. So old lady and an old man in bed, and we hear, oh, I forgot something. Before we hear this, the famous knock, before we're drawn back into this world that we know, we hear some very interesting music coming from this truck.
We're the kids in America. Whoa!
Yes, we hear very peppy, creepy sounding 80s pop music.
Yes.
Playing in this truck.
Also, I was taken right to Clueless. That also, it plays in her Jeep, too.
It wasn't...
Cher's Jeep.
We've talked about there is a degree of musical creepiness with the Joanna Newsom and the old country music in the first Strangers movie. This, to me, was a little bit less effective. It just felt a little... It's kind of a horror trope to have, like, peppy music that is then rendered creepy by the things that are happening.
It's like hearing It's a Wonderful World during the Vietnam scene from Good Morning Vietnam.
Exactly. So I was already sort of like, I don't know about this. But this truck pulls up to this mobile home. This poor old lady wakes up to the sounds of knocking on the door. But she does the smart thing, and she goes out, and she locks that deadbolt.
She knows nobody should be around there.
She knows. And then I thought we were going to get the classic, is Tamara home? Tamara's, or whoever this bitch is, Squeaky Frome, our old friend Squeaky, long hair, baby doll mask, is already in the goddamn trailer. She's already there.
What are you doing in my house?
Yeah. Then, what I would argue is one of the more effective creepy moments in the movie, we just cut to a hand stroking the German Shepherd that's sleeping on the foot of the bed that the older lady has come from.
Doberman?
Maybe it was a Doberman. It was a large, aggressive dog that should have been much more concerned
and that was
that
also,
a stranger was
crying.
In its home. Yeah, I didn't understand why that dog was not being a good dog at all. That dog, I love dogs, but fuck that dog. Yeah. Excuse me? Yeah. But anyway, so we see this hand stroking the dog's head, and a figure gets into bed next to this old man, and we see it's not the old lady. Yeah. It's
The mask.
So that's jarring. And then we cut, into our main sort of storyline, which is
bad girl Kinsey.
Okay, her name is Kinsey and not Kinsley. Can we be clear on that?
Kinsey.
Now, the Kinsey scale?
Mm-hmm.
You named your daughter after a unit of fuck measurement?
Yes. Yes. Her middle name is Unit of Fuck. Kinsey Unit of Fuck Jones.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
She's a troubled teen.
She's a troubled teen.
Because she has black hair and a lot of eyeliner.
And a off the shoulder Ramones top.
And a flannel shirt tied around her waist.
And Christina Hendricks, with the sweetest voice ever, says, okay, it's time to go. You learn she's going to boarding school because she's such a pain in her parents' ass and they're worried about her.
By the way, Christina Hendricks is the mother of this troubled teen, Kinsey. We never learn what...
Is the dad from The Ring?
Oh my god.
I'm not even kidding. I am just realizing this. If this is true, I'll freak out. We need to pause. We need to pause
we're
and look
keep
this
recording,
up.
But I'm going to look. Yes, it is Noah from The Ring.
Oh my god. Guys, I'm not even making this up. I was trying to think what he was from, and it wasn't until literally I feel like sitting here looking at your beautiful face that I was like, wait, why am I thinking of The Ring when I'm thinking of the dad's face? It's because he's the same fucking guy. That's crazy.
Oh my god.
That's crazy. Okay, Hot Luke Wilson.
He's a much better dad in this show.
Still hot.
Still pretty hot, yeah.
Maybe hotter. All right, well, you know how I like a man older.
I know, but here's the thing about Hot Luke Wilson and Christina Hendricks. They are the most annoying fucking parents I have ever had the misfortune to see in a movie.
Why?
I was just like, you guys are... First of all, I don't understand why this girl... What she's doing that you're so concerned about. She's smoking cigarettes and cutting class, and so you're going to send her to boarding school? I needed more explanation for what she had done.
Okay, they say staying out late, they're worried about her, bad grades.
She's a teen.
And then we do see later with her brother that she goes into someone else's house, is not hesitant to open their liquor cabinet, take out their liquor.
Guess. I think just from a storytelling perspective, I would have benefited to learn that she
crashed a car or
yeah,
did something very traumatic. I don't know. I kind of liked that we didn't know.
They were so sort of
superior.
They were just the writing of these portions of the show. I was surprised to know that this was the same writer because I thought that the original Strangers is so sort of such a tight little story. You only have the minimal amount of information that you need about these people. And we spent a long time with these people before anything scary happened. With Elizabeth Moss just having a lot of heart-to-heart conversations, by cars and then...
Elizabeth Moss.
The other one from Mad Men, Christina Hendricks.
Elizabeth Moss is the girl with the baby doll mask.
I wish she was in this movie. That would have been a nice cameo.
No, but... so I guess, though, to that point... It's good that they didn't tell us because it's kind of the same way that you don't know why Liv Tyler really says no to Scott Speedman.
Yeah.
It's just because she's not ready or whatever. She's going away because she's a bad kid. She's not doing the right thing.
But we just spent a lot of time talking about it without knowing what was wrong. I needed 3 fewer scenes of establishing that she was pissed off that she had to go to boarding school and that the parents were... There's a line that when she storms off and Christina Hendricks says to Hot Luke Wilson, nobody said it was easy. And it's the most annoying sitcom line that was just so unnecessary. They were just both annoying to me, and I was not sorry that we didn't have to spend that much time with them. Spoiler alert.
We did not have to spend hardly any time with Christina Hendricks.
No, we didn't.
So they're taking Kinsey to boarding school. They're going overnight, so they stop at their uncle and aunt's, Uncle Marvin or something, his like lake home. They're basically going to this trailer park, whatever you'd call it, mobile home park, where we saw the cold open. Mm-hmm. And Christina Hendricks calls the uncle and says, "Hi, Uncle Marvin. We're running late, so we're not going to get there tonight, or we're not going to see you tonight, or whatever." And
they get there. She goes into the main office that is Uncle Marv's, you know, where he generally works. And she finds a key and a note that says,
Cabin 47.
Yeah, we'll see you later in the morning. Here's the key. And there's a smiley face. So they go to this trailer. It's like perfectly nice trailer. All's good. Christina Hendricks starts drinking some wine, kind of some cheese. They're being annoying as fuck, these parents, these children. They're like, let's put the phones away. Oh, by the way, the siblings, up until this point, I just want to say have had a very contentious relationship. And there is one point where he, in the presence of his parents, Luke, the brother, calls Kinsey a queef. And Luke Wilson doesn't know what a queef is.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I would never use that word in front of my parents.
So I'll add, speaking of queef, it was up until this point, I didn't know what time period we were in.
Oh, really? Oh, because
the music were the kids in America, and then they were in like a previa. Like everything just seems sort of non-specific in terms of time.
Because they're in this old campground too.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, it's the 90s or it's the 2000s, but then they are on their phones, and I was like, oh no, it's current day. So I thought maybe queef's a new queef's a contemporary word that he doesn't. But I don't think it is. I think it dates way back.
I mean, we could probably get into the etymology of queef in a later episode if we needed to.
God.
But anyway, so they're hanging out in the cabin trailer. Dad's like, put the phones away. Fatally put the phones down when, yes, there's a knock at the door.
Oh, the knock. And then I was waiting with bated breath for, is Tamara home? Gotta say, Gemma, the actress from the first, far superior in my opinion. She made that line so much creepier, her little accent. But anyway, is Tamara home? No, you're lost, whatever. And she says, are you sure? Which I was glad. But she didn't say see you later. What did she say? Something else. I remember distinctly she did not say
she's
see
just
you
like,
later.
okay, and goes away. It's nothing nearly as threatening. Now, I think this question probably answers itself. Do we believe that these strangers are the same strangers as our previous strangers? All three of them are the same people? Because you made a point that Gemma, the Squeaky is played by a different actress. Probably the others may be as well, but we never see their faces in either movie, so we can't tell.
I think we're meant to assume it is the same people. That
10 years
said,
later.
Simon, who didn't see the first one, but was like, it couldn't be the same people.
Because
they're older. I mean,
well, Sackman and Betty Boop conceivably could be
the same.
But yeah, I mean, Squeaky is,
when she takes her mask off, she looks
quite young.
Yeah,
and even her hands and everything is young. And this is 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So but
I think we're meant to assume it's the same
strangers because they all have the same masks and everything. So what happens next? So they send her away. It's creepy. Somehow some fight happens.
Kinsey gives up her phone, but then she storms out to go for a walk and smoke a cigarette.
Right.
The brother goes after her. While the brother and sister are gone, the girl comes back.
Yes.
Knocks on the door. Is Tamara home? No. Are you lost? Can I call somebody? No. And then she walks, and then she pauses and turns to look back. But
we never see their face.
Never see the face. Christina Hendricks says, where are the kids? That girl freaked me out.
Smart.
Let's go find the kids.
Christina.
Meanwhile, the kids have found Uncle Marv's cabin.
Because the door's open.
And they've gone in, found his booze, Kinsey, bad girl. And then they hear the banging, and they're like, let's just check it out. I would have been like,
no, get out.
Peace forever.
Well, here's where Luke, and this is a theme throughout, and I like Luke. This is not me shitting on yet another male character. I think Luke, the older brother, is a nice guy, but he's like, let's look. And Kinsey makes the right call of saying, no, let's just leave. We don't need to investigate. We don't need to be detectives here. But Luke doesn't listen. He opens the door, and the fucking German Shepherd Doberman comes out. Fuck this dog. Again, I love dogs, but what the fuck happened here? Why did this dog not intervene in what we're about to learn?
Maybe he was elderly.
Maybe. But you would think he'd bark. It doesn't matter. Dogs are supposed to be selfless. Dogs are supposed to protect you, especially a big dog like that. What's the point?
Yeah, it's true. Well, anyway, it's very dark. The dog jumps out. They're looking around. On the window it says, hello, hello, hello. And then...
like throwback class, to the original. They're still doing their old shit.
Their
same
tricks.
Old shit.
10 years later.
Come on, get a new gimmick.
Yeah. And then they see through the darkness that their aunt and uncle's faces are destroyed.
Well, they're under a sheet. They pull a bloody sheet aside, and Uncle Marv is there, and his face is jacked.
I thought maybe the dog had gotten at them.
No, I don't think so, because his jaw is hanging off. Maybe the dog, but then the sheet wouldn't be over them because the dog wouldn't put the sheet back. Okay. This dog clearly is
I didn't
useless.
give the dog any credit. I was like, well, now the dog ate part of them.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to learn that. But no, their faces are all jacked up, which is a new thing because in The Strangers 1, nobody's face gets carved up. It's not a physical torture thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of differences between The Strangers and this bullshit movie.
Okay, spoiler alert.
Rating. But then, okay, we're just gonna zoom through the plot. I feel like because honestly, there's so many things to talk about in terms of my opinion.
Well, they freak out.
They
run away. They run into the parents who've been looking for them. They're like, there's Uncle Marv, or I don't know if they know it's Uncle Marv. They're like, there's dead people in this thing, and the parents don't really believe them at first, which is kind of fucked up, but maybe that's the dynamic of the family. I mean, we know Kinsey's a bad girl, so the dad, and I didn't care for this either. The dad's like,
get Kinsey back.
He sends the women back to the thing, and he takes his 16-year-old son, and I'm like, okay. The men are going to go look for it. My instinct would be protect the children. Parents go look for it. But I wouldn't send my son. Never in a million years would I send my son to go look at this. You know what I mean?
I mean, I would have been like, all three of you go back. I'm going to go check it out.
Or how about we go back and call the police right now?
Yeah.
How about we don't need to go look at the body?
Dad and Luke, the mom and Kinsey go back to
Elizabeth Moss, Christina Hendricks.
Elizabeth Moss and Kinsey Scale.
Yeah.
Go back to the mobile home.
Yeah.
And they're like, go. And then she sees the phones. And all the phones are together and they're smashed.
Yeah, they've all been scratched to fuck. They're not even smashed. They're scratched up in a really scary way.
Knifed.
Yeah. And Christina starts trying to turn them on. One of them will turn on, but it's not working properly. She's trying to call 911. As she's frantically talking to 911, Kinsey's like, Mom, because there's old Squeaky already in the trailer.
Mama. Mommy. Mama. What?
And it's Squeaky, and she's there with her old trusty chef's knife. I mean, maybe it's a different one.
I know. Or
but it looks the same.
Kept it.
Souvenir.
Yeah.
But she's doing that shit with the kitchen knife where she's dragging it along the countertop. Mm-hmm. She starts sort of pursuing them. They run through the mobile home, lock themselves in the bathroom, Shining style, and Squeaky's trying to get in.
And then we have another Ring throwback.
Oh.
Leave us alone!
That's right. I thought about you. I thought about you specifically yelling that. Oh, man. Yeah. Well, here's where it really takes a turn for me, this movie, because we spent a long time with both characters in The Strangers 1. And here what happens is Christina Hendricks gives her daughter a boost. There's a skylight in the bathroom. Gives Kinsey Scale a little boost. Gets out. And just as Squeaky Fromme comes in,
stabs her.
Gives her quite a stab. Gives her multiple stabs. We see barely 30 minutes in, not even 30 minutes in probably, the most famous person in the movie gets stabbed all to fuck.
It was very Drew Barrymore in Scream. I mean, she was in it a little bit longer than that, but not too long. I was surprised to see her go so quick. I wasn't sad, though. I did not think she was doing a good job in this movie, I have to say. And I love her. I wasn't fond of the boot cut jean. Okay, so to go big picture here. Go big picture. Because I just had a thought. My thought this whole time has been, this movie is not The Strangers. It should have been called something else. It should have just been called Pray at Night, and they should have had different masks, and it would have been fine. It's not The Strangers, because The Strangers did this amazing job of setting up this dread-fueled anxiety, and that doesn't happen here because you just are immediately thrust into killing. But, okay, now that I'm thinking that, on the other side, is it possible, though, that just just after 10 years they've escalated and they just kill faster?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Like, probably it takes more to get them jazzed. But, I mean, I think if we look at it from the perspective of genre, though, even, and sort of, we talked a lot about where this movie falls into sort of the structure of horror movies, the previous Strangers, and how different it was because it's a thing that can really happen to you. I mean, yes, it's like a heightened example of that. They're again, very well choreographed, but it's so scary because it's so feasible. And because it's so psychological and the majority of the movie is just you're scared before anything bad happens. This movie falls much more squarely into the tradition of teen slasher movie.
Yes.
This movie has Friday the 13th to thank for everything about it. I mean, the campground setting, the title treatment, even the ending.
Way it's shot.
We'll get to the final scene is very Friday. The way it's shot, the superhuman quality of particularly Sackman in this movie. This is like a throwback 70s slasher film. It is
Halloween.
A different genre.
It's like John Carpenter.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's very, which I love those kinds of movies, but that's not what I was expecting going into this at all. So I had to recalibrate at this point.
Okay, I'll say I think this could have been dope.
Yeah.
Had it just been called something else, because it didn't fit with the original.
I agree. I think
if this had really been all about paying homage to, horror movies gone by, great. Fucking love that. Yes, let's do a Stranger Things for horror movies. Mm-hmm. Let's throw it back, have all these references. That would be so cool. But that's not what the fucking Strangers is. Not to get too ahead of ourselves.
No, I think I agree. I mean, we all know what an experience I had watching The Strangers. Yeah. I was not sorry to not be so devastatingly scared for the whole time, but I would have just enjoyed it more had I gone in knowing I was about to see a fun slash and dash movie. But I went in with this expectation of pure realistic terror. So, okay, so we know that that's where we're at now that we have lost Elizabeth Moss. Not Elizabeth Moss!
No, that's
Christina
her name now.
Hendricks.
That's her name now.
Yes, we've lost her, and which is a sad scene. Actually, I saw it with a friend who cried during this scene, which I thought was sweet. I did not cry because I was ready to see her go, but it's very traumatic because she's been very mean to her mom, Kinsey has.
Yeah.
So it's like, it sucks that now she has watched her die this horrible death. Anyway, so Kinsey runs away, cut to Dad and Luke, hot Luke Wilson, and actual character named Luke, so that's confusing. They are in
see Uncle Marv.
There's a sound, and who do we see outside but our old pal Sackman? And he's standing there with an axe, which is never good. I mean, you see a guy with a mask and an axe, there's no plausible alternate explanation for that. Mm-mm. It's not like, maybe he's the gardener, maybe he's a security guard. No, he's here for murder only.
Yeah.
So they find a gun.
Yeah, they find that gun, and then they scare Sackman away, I guess, and then they go back home. To the home. Kinsey's on the run.
Kinsey's running. And just slowly Michael Myers style, Squeaky is just walking towards her. And she's running really fast, and Squeaky's not breaking a sweat.
So, also, the fact that Kinsey could jump off the roof and not hurt herself. Meanwhile, we're back to Liv Tyler tripping over a log and spraining her ankle for the rest of the movie. So I was like, okay, well,
that's fine.
We'll suspend our disbelief beginning an hour ago. So she's running.
The boys show back up at the trailer, and they find Christina Hendricks. It's really sad. It is sad. Hot Luke Wilson is obviously devastated with the loss of his life.
I did like how they had the sound go out for Luke.
Yeah.
Did you notice that? It sounded like his ears were muffled. I like that because I faint at the sight of blood.
Oh, yeah.
And whenever I am about to faint, I lose all my hearing, and everything sounds really echoey. And
I have had that experience, too. Yeah, when something just so tremendously horrible happens that you can't even process it for a minute. There are a couple of moments of genuine grief. There's a scene later where Luke and Kinsey are back together, and they're very sad. She's kind of panicking, and he calms her down by talking about the way that their mom used to yell at them and telling her a story about that. And it's just got a very sort of real, his imitation of her, what the fuck were you thinking? like, it's just it's a very real imitation of a son making fun of his mom gently. It felt real to me. I liked that moment. Yeah. But it was weird. I mean, if I could use one word to describe this movie, it's uneven, because there are moments of total, like, wackadoo shit. There are really scary moments. There are moments of emotional realness. There's sitcom bullshit. It just is kind of all over the place.
All over the place.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'll add that we're getting, I mean, I'm not a cinematographer, so I wouldn't begin to know how to describe this really, but the shots where it's like someone in the background, your lead character in the background, and the camera sort of panning in the foreground. Do you know what I'm talking about? And it's like this, it just had such a throwback quality to, it reminded me of the shot of the girl in the boat at the end of Friday the 13th.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's another scene that reminds me very strongly of that.
But even just the way it's shot, where it's like the person you're looking at is in the background, but they're in full focus. Right. And it's just this weird,
it makes them feel really vulnerable or seem really vulnerable. Yeah. In the middle of this space. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so much about this movie is...
The music throughout was like, yeah. It had a very Halloween feel to it.
And all of the actual music, all of the recognizable songs that they use, like pop songs. Anyway, so we have Hot Luke Wilson and Real Luke get in the car and they drive and they're looking for Kinsey because they're like, we can't focus on dead mom, we have to find Kinsey. They drive, somebody throws some shit at their windshield and then he crashes. Hot Luke Wilson crashes the car. This is tough. Crashes the car into one of the homes. Both of them are knocked unconscious. When they come to, Luke, baby Luke, is okay. He wakes up his dad. His dad has been impaled by something in the home, so he can't move. He's like, I'll pull it out. I'm like, don't pull it out. I've watched one season of Grey's Anatomy.
I know, I was going to say Grey's Anatomy 101. You got a screw in your brain, leave it in there.
Leave it in
for
there.
Life.
But, you know, it's okay because he's like, this is actually really sad. Hot Luke Wilson gives Real Luke the gun. He says, you got to go find Kinsey and you can get an ambulance and come back, all good. We know this. They both know that this is not true. The dad is going to die there and they're both aware of this. But Luke, he mans up and he's like, all right, I'm going to go get my sister. His dad says, I'm proud of you. He goes on the hunt for Kinsey.
I liked that. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty sweet.
This next part is fucked up.
The
and
most
freaky.
Upsetting part of the movie to me was this next part.
So Sackman slowly gets in the car into the passenger seat while Hot Luke Wilson is impaled. And so this was the most authentic to the Strangers brand to me, where they're just toying with them. Yes. Like, he could just come in and kill him right away, but he doesn't. He messes with him. He fiddles with the radio. He turns it up. He shows him the thing he's going to use to stab him.
Which is what? A screwdriver? I couldn't understand what that was.
Some pointy...
Like an ice pick? I don't know. Yes. Well, this movie, in the way that, you know, slash and dash, you get axed, you get stabbed, it's over, you go. This movie made us linger a lot on the painful scenes. Like, even when Christina Hendricks got killed, we spent kind of a long time watching her get stabbed. But yes, this scene, you know, he toys with him, and he ends up killing him. I mean, what's really hard for me is we get more begging. We had this with Liv Tyler at the end of the original Strangers. Hot Luke Wilson is just sort of trying in vain to reason with Sackman. And Sackman takes his ice pick screwdriver and just kind of casually just, like, slides it into old Hot Luke Wilson's neck.
Neck?
Wasn't it his neck? I wasn't looking. I was watching, like, through my eyes.
I think it was his gut.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
That sucks.
Yeah.
I thought it was like quick bleeding him of the jugular.
I don't know. I think it was his stomach, but I was like, oh, he's already impaled. Yeah. Like, ooh.
I assumed it was the neck, but I wasn't. To be frank with y'all, I don't watch a lot of the gore scenes in horror movies. I have a hard time with it, so I wasn't watching at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's tough. So now we've lost both mom and dad, and the kids are not all right. They're running around.
No, and Kinsey is running. Okay, first of all, how fucking big is this trailer park that she cannot find her way out? It's endless. She can't find her way out, which is insane. Yeah, like, just, I don't know, go in one direction. Except running around in circles. She's panicking. You're right. I mean, yeah, I would literally just curl up in a ball and die.
I would probably just kill myself. Honestly.
Yeah, like I just keep jumping off the top of a mobile home.
Apocalypse. But anyway.
So I did like this part. So she's running. She starts running from a truck.
Yeah, Sackman starts following her in the truck.
Yeah, and so she crawls inside of, like, a playground tube.
Mm-hmm.
And she's sitting in the back there, and he keeps kind of messing with the car, again, tormenting her, shining the lights into it. And she finally says, leave us alone.
Yeah.
And Betty Boop pops forward and says, but we're just getting started. Now, if I didn't scream out loud in the movie theater, I screamed. It scared me really bad.
Scary, except they gave it away in the trailer, so I knew it was coming. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
I watched, so I knew, but I thought it was a good jump scare. There's some good jump scares.
And it's the first time we've heard Betty Boop.
That's true. So the only one we never heard speak was Sackman.
Thank God.
But yeah, and it was the first time we saw Betty Boop, so the whole gang is here. We now know.
The gang's all here.
Just a sidebar about the car. Both of these movies do a good job of making cars a really scary thing. Like a scary weapon.
Yeah.
Like
also
being chased on foot by a car.
Indestructible. This
car does get beat up by the end. But yeah, for sure. So, yeah, because he manages to drive into a mobile home and not get impaled.
Exactly.
Which Hot Luke Wilson was not able to accomplish. By the way, Hot Luke Wilson no longer really looks like Luke Wilson because he has short hair and everything, but now that's who he is to me.
Yeah, that's him.
Somehow Kinsey escapes again. They let her escape. Mm-hmm. I mean, let's be real. And she goes into another unlocked trailer. And what does she encounter but a fucking Jack-in-the-Box? Which I was like, okay, what are we doing here? A Jack-in-the-Box?
Yeah.
You could have come up with something a little more fresh and creative than a Jack-in-the-Box. Between that and the smiley face, which to me is the most cliched fucking horror thing I can even think of.
Agree.
I was like, what are we doing here?
I know, why not like a poop emoji? If we're gonna like, I don't know, like why not like a verified Twitter mark? Yeah. Like it could have literally been fucking anything. An eggplant.
We don't need a symbol is the thing. We didn't have one in the original.
Yeah. Thing. Thank you. Why do we have a fucking symbol? I'll tell you why. Because this movie's called Pray at Night, not The Strangers.
Also, Pray at Night, I mean, it's a fine
terrible title.
But it's like, it has nothing to do with the movie that we've watched, other than just the generic, these people
that
are.
It's night.
And because it's not like praying, like I was like, oh, are they religious? Like, no, there's nothing to do with any meaning of, any spelling of pray. Whatever, it's fine. Anyway, so she finds this fucking Jack-in-the-Box. Who should be behind? But they did fake you out here because I think, oh, the Jack-in-the-Box is going to pop open and that's going to be the scare. The Jack-in-the-Box is not really scary. What is scary is that Squeaky's curled up behind the bed. She's the one who wound up the Jack-in-the-Box, obviously. So she starts swinging and stabbing.
Who do you think it was, the Doberman? The first thing he does all fucking movie is wind up that Jack-in-the-Box. Like, of course it's one of them. Get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, very bad move. So she gets a little stabby, nothing fatal.
Oh, this was bad though. But this kind of, to your point, lingers on the violence, like because you like hear the slashes and her arms are getting. And I was thinking about, Kaitlin and I, like most normal young women, love murder and true crime, and you always hear about defensive wounds and like people putting up their arms and stuff, and oh god, that was hard to watch.
Yeah,
that was hands scary. And arms getting cut.
She's getting sliced up. But luckily, right before Squeaky gives her the death blow, her brother Luke shows up with a gun, and he's like, "Get away from her." Well, Squeaky reads him like a goddamn owner's manual because she's like, "Are you gonna shoot me?" Knowing full well that he's not. Well, Kinsey gets down to business. She's just seen her mom stabbed to death by this bitch, and she's like, "Give me the gun. I'll shoot her. I'll shoot her." But he doesn't give her the gun, which I think is foolish.
Maybe that's why she's going to boarding school.
Okay, I would shoot somebody who stabbed my mom in front of me, and I was a very good kid.
I would too.
But yeah, I mean, from the beginning, it seems as though, because also when they go into Uncle Marv's cabin before they know all this fuckery is afoot, she is the one who's like, "Let's go in. I'm not scared. I found, so she's kind of the tougher of the two in a lot of ways." Oh, by the way, can I just say, throughout the movie, he calls her sis. Can I tell you this is the biggest dialogue pet peeve I have in film? No, does anybody call you sis?
Yes.
Really?
Both of my brothers.
I have never been called or called my sister sis. It sounds so fake to me.
Maybe it's a brother-sister thing. Maybe. I literally got a text from my brother just before this podcast started. I sent him a birthday card and he said, "I got my card. Thanks, sis. I love you." And I call him bro or bro, and he calls me sis or sister.
Well, I am a judgmental bitch. I never knew, because I always, when I see that, I'm like, nobody ever says that. That's so dumb.
Yeah.
But I guess it's not as dumb as I thought, so retracted. But I don't call my sister sis. Anyway, yeah, so he saves her, they run away, and they get to another trailer where he's, like, dressing her. He has to tourniquet her.
Okay, now that you said that, another trailer, I was like, God, we've really hemmed ourselves in here, because all there is to do is go from trailer to fucking trailer, and all the trailers are decorated the same, and I don't know, it was just the strangers felt so... I don't know, dynamic and interesting.
Yeah.
And it took place in one fucking house.
Yeah.
They're going from trailer to trailer, and I was like, Jesus, go somewhere else.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was just like, there was so little to do there. And also, get out of there. Yeah. I just, it's unimaginable to me how large this trailer park must be.
It is funny. It's like the more they expanded the space, the less they were able to do with it.
So anyway,
she has to get tourniqueted because her leg is bleeding real bad, which is rough. And there's a lot of important veins and shit in your thighs, so I was nervous for her. This is when they had their nice little moment of remembering Elizabeth Moss. They're like, we're gonna be okay. He puts the gun down, and you know that this is a bad idea because they give you a little lingering close up on the gun sitting on the table.
Which is next to like a Nancy Drew book.
I didn't even notice that. Oh, that's funny. Well, they're in the middle of their little loving moment, and fucking Sackman plows into the trailer with his truck.
I thought this part was kind of cool. The way they're, like, curled up on the couch and just staring at him.
Yeah.
And, like,
what are they
he just
to
keeps
do?
going.
Yeah, he has to back up, and so they escape when he backs up to re-ram it. So they run away again. Here they make another classic mistake, but I understand why they make it, because she can't walk because her leg is so fucked up. So he hides her.
I thought she was good, this actress.
I did too. I liked her.
I actually really I loved the brother.
Yeah,
and
I liked them.
I liked the parents. I feel like I actually really liked this family. I especially liked the kids. I was rooting for them a lot.
I was really rooting for the brothers. Once the brother and sister, because they were such dicks to each other, and once they started teaming up and it was clear how much they actually loved each other, I was really compelled by that. You don't see, I'm a sucker for a sibling relationship in a siblings in peril situation. Mm-hmm. But I didn't like the parents.
A bro and a sis.
They annoyed me. A bro and a sis. My heart has been changed. I guess.
So he puts Kinsey under the porch of a mobile home.
Hides her.
And he goes to the check-in place.
Yeah, back to the cabin where they found the note. And they say I love you, which is nice because they didn't love each other before because she was a queef, but now they do. And he's there. I mean, not a great idea. No, but I mean, there's no other option.
Besides,
I thought both of these kids were very brave and behaved very well. Yeah.
Like us, which is just curl up and like cover your head. Mm-hmm. Hope for the best.
They look out for each other big time. And they looked really, I thought, especially the girl, looked like real teens to me. Okay, so he goes out, the lodge has like a pool. So he goes out.
No, they're in there.
Oh, they're in there, that's right.
Betty Boop's in there, and he picks up a golf club. And then the slushy machine starts playing, and you know that made me want to go get a slushy from the lobby. The slushy machine started playing, and oddly, it's playing Greensleeves.
I didn't notice that.
Is the song.
Strange choice.
It's like Greensleeves, la 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 la. Which I was like, that's not really a child-friendly song. Anyway, small note. But speaking of great songs, so then he kind of escapes. Sackman's in there too, but he runs out. And he goes by the pool, and they turn on the lights around the pool.
Yeah, there's like a fluorescent
and there's like
palm
retro pool action.
And what's the soundtrack?
I really need you tonight. Forever's gonna start tonight.
Very romantic.
Love that.
I liked it too. I thought it was fun. But at this point, I had sort of been like, all right, we're watching some campy shit is what we're watching.
Okay, and it wasn't even, I guess it was at this moment that I was like, no, it wasn't at this moment. It wasn't until later that I was like, this is campy as fuck. I said it out loud. This is campy as fuck.
It really, we're entering crazy horror movies. Yeah. Like crazy slasher, classic slasher.
So he's by the pool, and I was like, I mean, this got me thinking, what would you do if you were by a pool and there was like someone trying to stab you? I think I'd jump in the pool.
But you can't move in the pool very well.
But they can't move in the pool that well.
That's true. Depends on if you're a good swimmer, I guess.
It made me think of It Follows. You have not seen it.
Watch it.
There is a pool moment. So It Follows. I won't digress too much, but but they do a lot of sort of throwback things and innovative things as well. They do it far better than this movie did it. I'll just say that. I'll just drop that in there. So there's a crucial pool scene in that too. which is very cool.
All right. I mean, a pool is a scary place to have a struggle for sure.
Yeah. So Betty Boop comes running out of the cabin, and he knocks her out with the golf club. Yeah. At which point I went, yes,
bye, bitch,
bye, bitch. And then she kind of wakes up, and he stabs her.
I mean, and he had hesitated previously to shoot somebody. He stabs her right here.
Did you think it was Kinsey?
It occurred to me for 1 second, but I was like, Kinsey can't run, and also why would she put on the mask and run at him?
And not say anything.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's his sister.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like Mike from the original.
I know. I'm glad they didn't, though, because we already have seen that, and it would have been too much. Also, by the way, I mean, I was rooting a lot more for these kids than I was for... not that I wanted, Jamie. Especially Liv, not that I wanted either of them to die, but it was just clearer to the beginning. Like, there were not the same sort of stakes to root for them. It was like, these people are here to be the mice, and that's what we're watching. Whereas with Kinsey, it's like, anytime there's kids, especially in a movie, you're like, and she's sort of spunky and troubled, and they have survive. Tension, and then exactly, it seemed like they should survive. So, yeah, so he stabs her, and then out comes Sackman, and he's pissed. Because one of them's dead. I mean, and that, at this point, too, I was like, oh, okay, so we're going to kill the actual villains.
And now it's 2-on-2.
Yeah, now it's 2-on-2. So they struggle, they fall in the pool, they have a protracted struggle in the pool, and then Luke gets stabbed in the back real bad in the pool. And I knew as soon as we went in the pool, somebody was getting stabbed, because you got to see that blood blossoming out. And he's coughing up blood. Sackman just leaves him to drown. And I was like, oh, this is horrible. I hope he can at least get to the edge and just die. But then Kinsey shows up, fishes him out. And I'm thinking, that boy is not going to make it because he's coughing up blood already. There's no way that he would have actually survived that injury, but stay tuned. So she, lays him down. She goes for help. She ends up encountering a friendly policeman.
This part was wild.
She's frantically trying to explain to the policeman what happened.
Old doll face comes along and slits his throat.
Squeaky, ear to ear, slices that old throat open. Ugh. He's dead. Fuck. Our girl Kinsey gets in the truck.
Which was smart.
Very smart, but she doesn't have the keys. Squeaky has the keys, so she can't drive away. But there is a shotgun in the thing. There's also a radio, which she doesn't seem to think to use.
Yeah, but the shotgun's faster.
The shotgun is faster. She ends up... I didn't understand how this happened, because I was sort of, again, watching through my fingers. But Squeaky almost gets her. She's, stabbing at her, and then she rears back. And that gives our girl the opportunity to shoot her in the chest.
She kicks her.
Oh, she kicks her. Okay, yeah. I was like, why? That's convenient. That makes sense. So she shoots her. So, wow, Squeaky's gone down. This is the only time in either of the movies that we see anybody's face of the villains.
I'm looking at my phone because this is what Simon texted me about.
What?
Let me refer back. Simon said, well, first he said, poor me, can't see, I forgot my glasses at work. But then he says, honey, for your podcast, when that girl shot the other girl with the shotgun at point blank range, it didn't kill her outright, just like the guy who got blown up and set on fire. So Simon is incredulous about these people's ability to survive, as am I. So she gets shot point blank with a fucking shotgun. Yeah. She's alive. She's on the ground. But then Kinsey removes her mask. And this part, I like a good line. And she said, why are you doing this to us? Classic The Strangers. Classic. Why not?
And she's laughing. She's like, why not? I'm bleeding from the mouth. And so she shoots her again and kills her for real. Without hesitation, which I love. But I mean, classic. That's what we came for. Then, I also like how kind of scary she looked. She looked like a meth head
with the blood in her teeth. Yeah. Maybe Gemma was just too beautiful. She's like a supermodel or something.
I mean, this girl wasn't bad looking, but just her hair and everything.
Yeah. So then comes Axeman. Yeah. He comes back with the truck. She's in the police car. They have some kind of, I don't know, chase off or something, or hit each other's cars or something. I kind of don't remember.
She's trying to figure out how to start the car, how to put it in drive.
Oh, because he hit her from behind.
And he hits her from behind, disables the vehicle in this way. And then, so she gets out of the car. She manages to get out of the car as he's chasing her. The cars are both leaking gasoline at this point.
Loved it.
And so what does she do?
She's been smoking ciggies the whole time, smoking them wrong.
All teens should smoke cigs.
Yeah, that's the takeaway. We all should. Smoking saves. And then She throws the lighter in the gasoline and it explodes. And that would have been the perfect moment for this movie to end.
Oh, yeah. I was ready.
But it didn't.
No,
it didn't at all. Because he drives out of the fucking flames in a literally, oh my gosh, this reminds me of, okay, I'm going to tell a story because I have to. This reminds me of our dear friend Lisa, someone Caitlin and I both know.
Yeah, shout out. She'll be here someday.
Who had cockroaches in her apartment. And Lisa, being inventive, decided to try and kill this cockroach by holding a long, what are those long lighters called?
I don't know.
Candle lighter.
An aim and flame.
An aim and flame and a spray aerosol bottle. Hairspray. And she lights it, sprays the cockroach. Well, a cockroach can survive like a nuclear blast. And so this cockroach is on fire, running around her apartment. It sets her drapes on fire. It sets her bedding on fire. It sets her whole apartment on fire. This is a New York City apartment. So this is what was going through my mind. I was like, oh, Sackman's like a cockroach. He'll live through anything. And this was total fucking Jason. Michael just cannot be killed. Yeah.
Michael Myers was set on fire at the end of Halloween. Dose.
He was set on fire twice, or this happened at the end of Halloween?
The sequel,
too?
Halloween
okay.
2. Yeah.
H2O.
No, that's a different one. 2, the sequel.
Sorry.
But yes, so, for fuck's sake. Yeah, so he starts chasing her in the car again, which is now on fire. Just has to run across this bridge.
Finally! She found a bridge! I'm guessing that's the way out.
I would go down, like, into the ravine. I don't understand why she goes across a bridge where there's nowhere for her to run off. He can just run her over.
I think she's kind of giving up a little bit at this point.
Maybe, yeah. I would have, she got a lot farther than I would have.
Yeah. You just fly around in the gasoline and then light yourself on fire.
All right.
Like, take me. So he gets out. He's all burned up. His sack is burned to his head.
Yeah.
And then he lays down on the ground and, like, that's it.
Collapses. He pulls a piece of glass out of his own sternum. Again, Grey's Anatomy would have told him not to do that.
Leave it.
And he collapses. So she's out in the street, flags down a car, a passing car. Another movie that has more endings than Lord of the fucking Rings. But flags down a car. The lady's like, "What's wrong? Are you okay?" Then starts running back to her car because Sackman has appeared again behind her.
And also at this point, like, what does Sackman have so much against this person or this family? If literally they're just doing this willy-nilly, no motive, why not? Then just let her go.
Well, now she has killed both of his associates, though, at this point.
But you got 3rd-degree burns, brother.
I know. But maybe he knows he's going to die, and so he's just like, well, I'm going to get one more thrill out of this.
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean, it doesn't make any sense because he's not a human in this at all. He's Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Know?
He goes chasing after that truck.
She jumps into the bed of the truck, and he does as well. And
she kicks him out.
She finds a baseball bat.
Oh, right.
In the bed because there's a little boy in the truck that's been playing with a baseball. She gives him a good thwack on the head, and finally he goes off and, he's gone. And we see him lying there with his eyes open, and so presumably he has died.
Full Texas Chainsaw Massacre ending. 100%. Do you remember how I mentioned in the last episode that he looks like Texas Chainsaw Massacre with the suit and the sack face? Yes. At the end of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, one girl survives. She gets in the bed of a truck. He goes chasing after her. She laughs maniacally as the sun comes up. It is like almost like shot for shot.
It's like a pastiche that we're seeing here or something. Yeah. So she gets away. The next scene that we see is that she's in the hospital next to her brother who's hooked up to a ventilator and everything. Hopefully he'll be okay. He survived, which is crazy to me.
Well, and then when she was driving away in the bed of the truck, I was like, "You forgot your brother."
I said that out loud to my friend.
Yeah, me too. I was like, her brother.
But she has gotten him at some point, So our final sort of moments are we hear like a squeak, and then there's a knock at the door, and she drops her water. Roll credits. I mean, it's like you're at a hospital, it's probably a doctor.
It's definitely the night nurse coming in to change his bedding or something. Yeah,
this scene was trying really hard to be the moment in the boat where in Friday the 13th, the final girl wakes up in the hospital Or no, I'm sorry. She ends up escaping. She's on the lake. In the boat, and suddenly the ghost of Jason like comes up and gets her, and then she wakes up with a start and she's in the hospital.
Right.
And that's what this was trying to do, but it didn't have the same. There was no.
They're dead. These people are dead.
It was just so obvious that they were dead, and there was no other person that we had been led to believe about. She's in a hospital. Yes, the knock was scary.
And again, like, it was a random, motiveless crime. So, like, they're not going to follow you to the hospital. Even if Sackman was alive, he's not going to follow you to the hospital and, like, come in there with the sack on his head. You didn't see his face. He's probably in the hospital in the burn unit.
Well, Halloween 2 takes place in the hospital. Michael Myers comes and gets her in the hospital. But anyway, this is not to say she shouldn't be scared because she's just been through a terrible ordeal. But we as the audience did not feel a reason to be scared. No, it was clear that wasn't a threat. Yeah. But I was glad that she and Luke both made it out alive. Certainly a less bleak ending than the previous movie.
God, they're going to have a rough time.
Yeah. Well, at least she doesn't have to go to boarding school.
Or do they both have to go to boarding school now?
Yeah, even Uncle Marv is dead. Who knows?
Oh, gosh. Okay, so what would you rate it?
All right, I'm going to rate it. It's hard. I got to look at it separately from the series a little bit to give it a rating. If I'm looking at it just as like a slasher flick.
Okay, so if this was called Pray at Night.
Yeah. I mean, that's a dumb name, but I think I would probably give it a 3. I think
this was called Slasher Things.
Slasher Things. I think I would give it a 3. I think it's a solid slash and dash. You know, there are some stupid parts. It's it's quite uneven in places, but it's kind of fun because it's in that tradition that I love. There are some really scary, good scenes. There's some good jumps. There's some stuff that's really stupid. I would like to give it a 2.5, but I'll round it up to a 3.
And ghost faces? Ghost emojis?
I'll actually give it 4. I did not have the same amount of dread, certainly, as with The Strangers, and I'm not haunted by this movie. Like, The Strangers, I'm still thinking about 3 weeks later. This movie, I'm not, it's so silly what has happened here. I'm not scared that this is going to happen to me because it's just so over the top and ridiculous. But it was a very stressful movie to watch because there's a lot of violence. The scene with Hot Luke Wilson in the car is really upsetting. So I'll give it a 4. Yeah. What about you?
Well, I give it a 2 stars, 2 stars. And that's, a big reason is because to me it wasn't The Strangers. Like, I'm surprised to learn that it was written by the same guy. It didn't feel like the same thing. Had it been called something else, I would have liked it more. Yeah. It didn't have anything that I loved about The Strangers in it. So I give it a 2. I give it 3 ghost faces, maybe 4. I did think it was scary, but I gotta say, I enjoyed watching The Strangers more. I had a moment watching this where I was like, I am not enjoying this. Mm-hmm. I'm just waiting for something else violent and crazy to happen.
Yeah, The Strangers is a much more artful movie in its scariness.
The other thing, and again, I'm surprised to learn, and I guess since it was written by the same guy, it's like, I guess my comment is invalid, but I don't think they earned killing these villains. How dare you kill the villains from the first movie? Those were some, not badass is the wrong word, but those were some fucked up, awesomely terrible villains. Yeah. And this movie did not earn killing them, and these characters didn't earn killing them.
I agree.
They're dead now.
I agree. Well, at least they're not going to make it like a big, horrible franchise unless... Yeah. Unless they really go like Jason in space territory with it or something, because they did.
Sackman in space. Yeah. Sackman underwater. Which
Sackman as a Michael Myers figure is so much less frightening because it's so derivative. It's not its own thing anymore. It's just like, even down to the mask, the weird mask. It's like, this is just Michael Myers. Right. So,
worth seeing.
It was a fun throwback.
If you've got Movie Pass, just go.
Give it a shot. Yeah. Well, now you know how it ends, so maybe you don't want to, but yeah. That's where we're at with Strangers Praying. What are we going to watch next? We didn't talk about this.
Okay. I don't know. Oh my gosh. I have no idea.
I don't know. I kind of want to watch a classic. I feel like
let's watch a classic.
We could watch, what's that movie you like?
The Haunting. Oh my gosh. We are watching The Haunting. Okay. The Haunting, 1956. Such a scary movie. Perfect. Okay. Not to be confused with House on Haunted Hill. Yeah. Also from 1956 or 57. This is The Haunting. Okay. And not to be confused with the one with Owen Wilson or Luke Wilson, Owen Wilson, and Catherine Zeta-Jones from, 2000.
The real Luke Wilson.
Yeah, exactly. No. Yeah, well, this was a fun one.
This was a fun one. This was a good two-parter for us.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about trailers real quick? You were talking about some trailers.
Oh my God, yes. I mean, the best part about going to see Prey at Night in the movie theater was the trailers. The worst part was the kid next to me who wouldn't stop kicking his legs. But anyway, the best part was the trailer. So I saw A Quiet Place, which is the John Krasinski movie. So we're definitely going to see that. Also saw a trailer for Slender Man. I think that should be on our list.
Oof, yeah, definitely.
Kind of freaky. I'm a little worried about the fact that that movie's already been made because a little girl did get stabbed 19 times.
Well, but it's not about that, is it?
I think it might be.
Oh, really? I thought it was just about the creature of Slender Man.
Well, it might be not about that specifically. It's definitely about teens and tweens getting...
But that's what Slender Man is, though.
Yeah.
He deals with children.
Okay.
That's, like, his whole thing.
Right.
So, yeah. But, yeah. I mean, it's tricky because that story did have very real consequences.
And then earlier today, I Googled Slender Man because I wanted to see what the young girl in it is from, because I recognized her face. She's from The Affair. But I got a little scared because I Googled Slender Man and I was like, this is how he gets you.
Because you looked him up on the internet?
Yeah, I was like, now he's in my phone.
I think he only wants teens.
Well, that's ageist. I'm a supple young. I'm not that supple. I'm a youngish woman.
You're a whole 30 supple girl.
Yes, not a cookie in sight. All right.
Well, yeah, I saw that. I did see that trailer a while ago, not in the theater, and there were a lot of bugs. I noticed a lot of bugs.
It has the ring flavor.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see how we respond to that in a more modern sort of capacity.
Can't believe Hot Luke Wilson was in this movie.
I can't believe I didn't recognize him.
So good.
Good eye.
So good.
Theme.
All right. Well, thank you for listening, you guys.
Thank you guys.
Come back next time.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
Bye. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ScreamGirlsPod or shoot us an email at screamgirlspodcast@gmail.com. Also, go on iTunes and rate, review, and subscribe. Thanks.